प्रमोशन तथा इस प्रमोशन की घटनाक्रम को पहले ही बताया जा चुका है। सर्वप्रथम दोनों S200 स्ट्रैप-ऑन बूस्टर प्रज्वलित किए जाएंगे T0 पर।
Pre-flight pressurization of the hydrogen tank commenced.
S200 के प्रज्वलन के 108 सेकंड के पश्चात L110 जो कि
-2 minutes
तरल नोदक पर आधारित चरण है, इसका प्रज्वलन शुरू कर दिया जाएगा। L110 के प्रज्वलन के पश्चात करीब 137 सेकंड पर S200 बूस्टर्स को यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा।
We are close to 1.5 minutes from the scheduled launch time.
सभी दर्शकों को ज्ञात है यह एक ऐतिहासिक मिशन होने वाला है। पूरे भारतवर्ष की आंखें इसमें हैं। इस यादगार पल के लिए यहां सब उपस्थित
-1 minute.
अब हम उड़ान से 1 मिनट की दूरी पर
-45 seconds. -50 seconds.
All sequences armed. Stage ready.
-45 seconds. -40 seconds.
L110 VHPP open. MOV 79
-35
open.
seconds. -30 seconds.
Real-time programs activated.
-25 seconds.
L110 VSPP open.
-20 seconds. -15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Plus 5 seconds.
Lift off normal.
Here we have a majestic liftoff of LVM-3 M4 rocket carrying India's prestigious Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft.
P2 tracking.
प्रज्वलन और सफलतापूर्ण उत्थापन LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का। यह भीमकाय रॉकेट आसमान को चीरते हुए अपनी भयानक दहाड़ से चारों ओर कंपन उत्पन्न कर रहा है। इसे हम यहाँ महसूस कर सकते हैं और यही दहाड़ है जो वैज्ञानिकों को रोमांचित करती है। LVM-3 के उत्थापन के साथ ही हमारे अंतरिक्ष यान चंद्रयान-3 की चंद्रमा की यात्रा प्रारंभ हो चुकी है।
As the rocket is soaring through the clear skies, every second moving closer to the accomplishment of the most important milestone in its mission to moon. Every Indian witnessing the launch live is content with the feeling of watching history in the making.
चंद्रमा की सतह पर अपना छाप छोड़ने के लिए चंद्रयान-3 अपने मिशन को पूरा करने निकल चुका है। वर्तमान में दोनों S200 स्ट्रैप-ऑन बूस्टर सामान निष्पादन करते हुए अपनी निर्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं।
The S200 motors thrusting simultaneously, generating a peak thrust of close to 6,000 kilonewtons in vacuum. They are made of HTPB-based solid propellant. 204.5 tons in each strap-on. Close to 2 tons of propellant being burnt each second.
S200 स्ट्रैप-ऑन बूस्टर्स का कुल प्रज्वलन काल 126 सेकंड का है और अभी घोषणा की गई L110 स्टेज का भी प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है।
Apart from the strap-ons, the core stage has also commenced its operation. This stage, based on combination
200 stages are separated.
of hypergolic Earth storable liquid propellant UH-25 and N2O4. Now the S200s have been separated.
घटनाक्रम के अनुसार यह यान इस यान से S200 स्ट्रैप-ऑन बूस्टर्स को सफलतापूर्वक पृथक कर दिया गया है। यह काम सेपरेशन मोटर्स की मदद से किया जाता है। इसके बाद L110 तरल नोदक पर आधारित और विकास इंजन के साथ यह चरण सामान्य निष्पादन करता हुआ अपने उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर बढ़ रहा है। अभियान
3 minutes.
क्लोज लूप गाइडेंस के अंतर्गत है।
L110 stage performance normal.
The trajectory of launch vehicle is closely following the prediction.
Payload fairing separated.
जी हाँ, पेलोड फेयरिंग को पृथक कर दिया गया है यान से, क्योंकि यान अब 114.8 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई प्राप्त कर चुका है। इस चरण का कुल प्रज्वलन काल 200 सेकेंड होता है और इस दौरान यह करीब 1600 किलो न्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न करता है।
We are 220 seconds past the launch time. Current altitude is 135 kilometers. In the 200 seconds of its operation, the L110 stage carries the rocket up to 175.5 kilometers altitude and imparts a relative velocity of 4.18 kilometers per second. That is 250 kilometers every minute.
L110 stage performance normal.
LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का द्वितीय चरण पूर्णतः सामान्य निष्पादन करते हुए इस चरण में कुल 113 टन के तरल नोदक भरे जाते हैं। N2O4 तथा UH-25 अर्थ स्टोरेबल प्रोपेलेंट को ईंधन के रूप में प्रयोग किया जाता है इस चरण में।
Stage ignition is authorized.
अगला चरण C-25 का प्रज्वलन भावी है।
Plus 5 minutes.
L110 stage thrust cut off and separated to C-25 ignition command. 25 ignition confirmed.
That's a piece of really good news that the third stage has started its operation. The C-25 stage has been ignited.
जी हाँ, एक बहुत ही जटिल प्रक्रिया होती है क्रायो इंजन का इग्निशन और इसके प्रज्वलन के साथ ही तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट से गूंज उठा है मिशन नियंत्रण कक्ष। तृतीय चरण C-25 वर्तमान में प्रणोद उत्पन्न कर रहा है। पूर्णतः सामान्य, सभी तंत्र पूर्णतः सामान्य हैं।
118 kilonewtons thrust in vacuum is what the stage develops with its 28.6 tons propellant combination of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Present altitude
Stage
is low.
performance normal.
तृतीय और यह अंतिम चरण है इस यान का C-25। यह क्रायो ईंधन पर आधारित चरण है जिसमें लिक्विड हाइड्रोजन, लिक्विड ऑक्सीजन का इस्तेमाल होता है। इसमें कुल 28 टन का क्रायो ईंधन पूरी सुरक्षा तथा सावधानी के साथ भरा जाता है। इस चरण में 186 किलो न्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न होता है और यह करीब 640 सेकंड तक प्रज्वलित रहेगा। इसमें दिशा नियंत्रण के लिए इंजन जिम्बल का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। क्रायो ईंधन का विशिष्ट आवेग 446 सेकंड के करीब होता है।
Currently, the rocket is at an altitude of 210 kilometers.
Plus 7 minutes.
While there is no much variation in altitude, this stage will add to the relative velocity immensely.
Cryo stage
आइए
performance
अब आपको
normal.
के बारे में जानकारी देते हैं। लैंडर मॉड्यूल्स पे कई वैज्ञानिक प्रयोगों के लिए पेलोड्स लगाए गए हैं।
India's prestigious lunar landing spacecraft Chandrayaan-3 moving closer to its intended injection spot in the orbit. The propulsion module provides propulsion for earthbound maneuvers, translunar injection, and moonbound orbits. It also has a payload to study the spectral and polarimetric measurements of Earth and lunar orbit. The abbreviated name of the payload is SHAPE. Among the payloads of the lander module, the following are included. A Langmuir probe called Rambha to measure the near-surface plasma density, that is the density of ions and electrons, and its changes with time. The second payload is Chandra's surface thermophysical experiment, or CHASTE, to measure thermal properties of lunar surface near polar regions. To measure the seismicity around the landing site and delineating the structure of the lunar crust and mantle, payload ILSA is there. The rover, after its descent, will further the
Cryo
scientific
stage
study
performance
objectives
normal.
through its own payloads. For better understanding of chemical and mineralogical composition of lunar surface, LIBS, or laser-induced breakdown spectroscope, is included. Another payload is the alpha particle X-ray spectrometer.
जी हाँ, लैंडर मॉड्यूल में 3 पेलोड हैं, रोवर में 2 और प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल में 1 पेलोड भेजा गया है। चंद्रयान 3 के स्वदेशी लैंडर और रोवर में नितभारों का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। यह अंतर्ग्रही मिशन के लिए भी आवश्यक तकनीकों का प्रदर्शन करेंगे। लैंडर के पास यह क्षमता है कि वह चंद्रमा की उबड़-खाबड़ सतह में भी बड़ी सावधानी से उतर सकेगा और रोवर को बाहर लाने के लिए और संचार सुविधाएं प्रदान करने के लिए सक्षम होगा। चंद्रयान 3 के लैंडर और रोवर में कुल 6 नितभार हैं। रेडियो एस्ट्रोनॉमी ऑफ मून बाउंड हाइपर सेंसिटिव आयनोस्फीयर एंड एटमॉस्फेयर, जिसे शॉर्ट में रंभा कहा जाता है, यह चंद्रमा की सतह के पास प्लाज्मा के घनत्व तथा समय के साथ बदलाव का मापन करेगा। इसके बाद चंद्र सरफेस थर्मोफिजिकल एक्सपेरिमेंट चंद्रमा के ध्रुवीय सतह के आसपास की थर्मल प्रॉपर्टीज का मापन करेगा। इंस्ट्रूमेंट फॉर ल्यूनर सिस्मिक एक्टिविटी लैंडिंग साइट के आसपास के क्षेत्र में भूकंप जैसी गतिविधियों का पता लगाएगा। रोवर में चंद्रमा की सतह के तत्वात्मक विश्लेषण के लिए लेजर इंड्यूस्ड ब्रेकडाउन स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोप और अल्फा पार्टिकल एक्सरे स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोप इसका इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। एक बहुत ही दिलचस्प वैज्ञानिक नितभार है शेप स्पेक्ट्रोपोलैरिमेट्री ऑफ हैबिटेबल प्लैनेट अर्थ, जो कि चंद्रमा से पृथ्वी से परावर्तित नियर इंफ्रारेड किरणों का विश्लेषण दूसरे जीवन सहायक ग्रहों को खोजने में मदद करेगा। वर्तमान में C-25 इंजन कार्यरत है और पूर्णतः सामान्य प्रदर्शन कर रहा है। अब हम प्रमोशन से 700 सेकंड की दूरी पर आ चुके हैं। सापेक्ष गति 6.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड, ऊंचाई 191 किलोमीटर।
As we have told you about the Chandrayaan-3's upgrades in the aspects of enhanced robustness through extensive ground tests and simulation, during the last phase of landing, the module will have a vertical velocity of less than 1 meter per second and a horizontal velocity of less than 0.5 meters per second from a height of 3 meters. The lander legs are designed to be robust enough to thrive the impact. The cameras are tuned to take pictures ahead of the landing and enable intelligent decision-making for choice of best location to land avoiding craters and
Real
boulders
stage
on lunar
performance
surface.
normal.
The successive pictures will also enable the craft to determine its horizontal and vertical velocity in real time. Laser Doppler velocity sensor is an upgrade in Chandrayaan-3 over its predecessor. It helps to determine instantaneous velocity of craft. Insights into the behavior of Chandrayaan-2 in the last few minutes of its descent has revealed to the scientists the necessity for upgrade in the guidance algorithm. Inputs from various sensors are used by the autonomous navigation guidance algorithm of Chandrayaan-3 to plan the flight path to the most suitable landing spot. The engines of Chandrayaan-3 are capable of more gradual throttling also.
वर्तमान में हम प्रमोशन से 817 सेकंड की दूरी पर आ चुके हैं। करीब 950 सेकंड पर तृतीय चरण क्रायोजेनिक इंजन को शट ऑफ कर दिया जाएगा। और उचित अभिवृद्धि प्राप्त कर चंद्रयान 3 को यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा। चंद्रयान 3 को LVM-3 M4 द्वारा एलिप्टिकल पार्किंग ऑर्बिट में लॉन्च करने के पश्चात 170 किलोमीटर की पेरिजी पर क्रमशः 5 बार मैन्यूवरिंग कमांड दिया जाएगा। 5वीं बार में यह पृथ्वी से चंद्रमा की ओर प्रस्थान करेगा, जिसे हम ल्यूनर ट्रांसफर ऑर्बिट के नाम से जानते हैं। फिर 5 अगस्त 2023 को यह चंद्रमा की कक्षा में प्रवेश करेगा और फिर क्रमशः 5 मैन्यूवरिंग के पश्चात प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल चंद्रमा की 100 किलोमीटर की वृत्ताकार कक्षा में स्थापित हो जाएगा। यहाँ यह उचित समय और अभिवृद्धि में लैंडर मॉड्यूल को पृथक करेगा और 23 अक्टूबर 2023 को चंद्रमा की सतह पर लैंडिंग की प्रक्रिया शुरू की जाएगी।
Plus 15 minutes.
We have come close to 900 seconds after the launch. Currently, the C-25 stage is thrusting. Current relative velocity is 9.29 kilometers per second.
जी हाँ, कुछ ही क्षणों में हम देखेंगे तृतीय चरण LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का चंद्रयान को उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर ले जा रहा है और उद्दिष्ट कक्षा प्राप्त होते ही और उचित अभिवृद्धि प्राप्त होते ही चंद्रयान 3 को अंतक्षेपित कर दिया जाएगा।
Cryo stage thrust cutoff. Satellite injection condition is achieved.
अभी पुष्टि की गई चंद्रयान 3 को प्रमोशन की कक्षा प्राप्त कर ली गई है।
Chandrayaan-3 satellite separated.
चंद्रयान 3 को सफलतापूर्वक अंतक्षेपित कर दिया गया है एलिप्टिकल पार्किंग ऑर्बिट पर।
Chandrayaan-3 has attained a major milestone
LVM-3
successfully.
M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission accomplished. Handing over to mission director.
This is mission director. The LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan mission accomplished its precise satellite injection conditions. LVM-3 M4 mission is successful. Jai Hind.
The launch has also added a feather in the cap of LVM-3 rocket. You can watch the jubilant congratulatory gestures of ISRO scientists in the Mission Control Center.
जी हाँ, चंद्रयान को सफलतापूर्वक अंतक्षेपित कर दिया गया है, लेकिन चंद्रयान 3 की यात्रा अभी जारी है। अब इस मिशन के बारे में हम अध्यक्ष महोदय से सुनेंगे और हम आपसे आज्ञा लेते हैं।
We sign off.
नमस्कार।
Up next is address by Secretary DOS, Chairman ISRO.
Congratulations, India. Chandrayaan-3 has started its journey towards moon. Our dear LVM-3 has already put Chandrayaan-3 craft into the precise orbit around Earth. 170 by 36,500 kilometers was its intended target orbit, and it is precisely there now. And let us wish all the best for the Chandrayaan-3 craft to make its further orbit racing maneuvers and travel towards moon in the coming days. So let me wish all the very best to Chandrayaan-3 for its further journey towards moon. Before that, let me introduce the team behind this mission, the mission director, Mr. Mohan Kumar, and also the project director of LVM-3. And we have also the mission director for the Chandrayaan-3 craft, the project director of Chandrayaan-3, Veera Muthuvel. So over to them, Mohan.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology and Departments of Space and Atomic Energy, Dr. Jitendra Singh, respected Chairman ISRO and Secretary Department of Space, former secretaries of the department, invited dignitaries, respected dignitaries and invitees, I am very happy to report here that the LVM-3 M4 vehicle has injected the Chandrayaan-3 satellite to the precise orbit, and once again the vehicle is proved to be the most reliable heavy lift vehicle of Indian Space Research Organization. Congratulations to the teamwork of ISRO family. I would like to appraise three things here. The vehicle systems are in the continuous process of quality improvement, especially in the event of our human rating efforts towards making the systems reliable. Secondly, the payload also, capability of the payload also is improved by mission strategies as well as vehicle engineering approaches. We are in the process of increasing the launch frequency of this vehicle, considering the national requirements as well as satellite demands. Here, so many improvements we have incorporated in this vehicle. For example, the S200 nozzle, they are processed exactly as per the human rating standards, enabling us to have 100% NDT, and the inherent pocket erosion characteristics are removed. The L100 stage Vikas engine, mostly it is 100% qualified to be the human rated engine with indigenously developed LET throats, and the pocket, the backward gas entry also is eliminated, and it is a perfect system. Yes, and CE20 stage also is perfectly, actually,
Good. So we will describe all those details later because of shortage of time.
Yes, sir. I take this opportunity to thank all the mission executives because mission executives for all the supports all along the launch campaign process as well as the launch. Once the launch manifest is released and mission executives are identified, really this is a penance of so many across the ISRO centers, our launch vehicle centers, VSSC, LPSC, IPRC, IASU, SDSC, SHAR, URSC and SAC, along with all our industrial partners, major players to the small-scale industries who supply us with all the deliverables in time, quality products, the suppliers of chemicals, propellant ingredients, suppliers of avionics systems, and our own GOCO facility operators. Actually, the industrial manpower is really our ISRO's virtual manpower. Everybody's efforts went into this, and also the prayers and best wishes of all our seniors, retired executives, everyone's prayers and our own family members. I take this opportunity to pray God Almighty for all the blessings in the form of this success, which was the penance by the ISRO family for last 73 days. And my prayerful pranams for the successful continuous operations of the Chandrayaan spacecraft, for its safe and soft landing on lunar surface and further experiments. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Respected Chairman ISRO, Center Directors, dignitaries and my team Chandrayaan-3, very happy to note that our Chandrayaan-3 has been injected into an intended orbit with very close orbital parameters. Congratulations and thanks to LVM-3 team. And all our spacecraft health parameters are normal, including the power generations in both propulsion module and lander module. Our journey to moon has begun now for the most awaited soft landing. We'll be closely monitoring and controlling the spacecraft from ISRO Bangalore. Many critical events are lined up, starting from earthbound maneuvers, insertion into the lunar orbit, and separation of lander, and set of deboost maneuvers, and finally the power descent phase for a soft landing. I take this opportunity to thank Chairman ISRO, Director URSC, and all the center directors for entrusting me this opportunity, who have been the motivational and guidance force behind this mission. My special thanks to Chandrayaan-3 project executives, Associate Project Director Kalpana, Deputy Project Directors, Project Managers across the ISRO centers who have provided an excellent support in building the spacecraft. My special thanks to the expert committees for their constant guidance throughout the various stages of the project. I also thank the various work centers and industries who have contributed directly and indirectly to this mission. My special thanks to URSC council members, group directors, deputy directors across the ISRO centers, and looking forward for the soft landing with all your wishes and blessings from the God. Thank you.
We have our Honorable Minister for Space, Minister of State for Space, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, amongst us during this historic occasion of success of launching of LVM-3. So we would like to hear a few words from him. Over to you, sir.
It is indeed a moment of glory for India and a moment of destiny for all of us over here at Sriharikota who are a part of the history in making. Thank you, Team ISRO, for making India proud. And thank you, Honorable PM Narendra Modi ji, for having made this possible by unlocking the gates of Sriharikota and enabling the India's space sector. You would recall, Honorable Prime Minister had very recently said, sky is not the limit. And living by his words, I think the Chandrayaan today has gone beyond the limits of sky to discover the unexplored horizons of the universe beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, this day today, the 14th of July, 2023, is also a day of vindication. Vindication of the dream that Vikram Sarabhai saw 6 decades ago. He might have been short of resources, but never short of confidence. And when we see those pictures of a launcher vehicle being carried on the carriage of a bicycle, without any remorse, without any slightest embarrassment, that is because Vikram and his team had faith in themselves, faith in India's potential, faith in India's acumen. And today, here, we are vindicating and we are reiterating India's indigenous capabilities, living up to the ideal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And before I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, as Mother India enters into the next 25 years of this Amrit Kal, she pledges to play a leading global role in the emerging world scenario of 21st century. Thank you and congratulations once again.
Thank you, sir. We will also introduce the directors of the centers who have done all those great work of building the rocket, building the scientific instruments for Chandrayaan-3, the Chandrayaan spacecraft itself, and made all those critical systems, and also the agencies who are going to handle the rest of the mission part, the tracking and the ground stations, and all those teams we are here. So I request the directors of those centers to join. First, Director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center.
Good afternoon, India. In last 1 year, this is the 10th mission, including the precise landing of the reusable launch vehicle. So with this mission, this is the 7th mission of LVM-3, the successful mission. With this, the success rate of LVM-3 is 100%, and this is the ideal vehicle for Gaganyaan. Some of the changes that we are incorporating in Gaganyaan, we have implemented here, and the Mark III has crossed the reliability of 0.9 and inching forward. So I take this opportunity to salute the entire ISRO community, especially the VSC community and all launch vehicle centers, industry partners for making the stages, making the sub-assemblies and testing. In fact, this is the 3rd launch of LVM-3 in 1 year. You know, the realizing the stages, assembling, testing, and then launching 3 LVM-3s in 1 year is a Herculean task. I salute the industry as well as all the ISRO centers for this. And I wish all the very best. We know that when the beginning is good, the ending has to be good. I wish all the very best to the Chandrayaan for its solitary journey through the vastness of space and for making a feather-like soft landing in the 4th week of August. Good luck. Thank you.
Dr. Narayanan, Director LPSC.
Good afternoon to all of you. It is a historical event for Indian space program and a proud moment for all the Indians across the globe on this momentous occasion of the successful launch of the Chandrayaan-3. 3-in-1 spacecraft in the required orbit with the highest level of precision by our heaviest launch vehicle, LVM-3. After the 2 launches of LVM-3 vehicle this year, this vehicle is realized in the record shortest time. Today, once again, all the vehicle systems have performed, demonstrated the 7th successful launch. As you all know, the entire spacecraft community has put wholehearted effort during last 4 years, and we have realized a marvelous, great scientific satellite. For this mission, the entire vehicle performance is as expected, as predicted. In fact, the precision in which the satellite is launched shows the reliability of this vehicle. And we too have 4 liquid propulsion modules, 2 in the launch vehicle. The L110 stage, C25 stage, it has performed extremely well along with all other vehicle systems. We too have 2 more propulsion modules, one for taking the spacecraft to the moon, another one for soft landing. I think it is already well integrated, the system health is very good. Today's success is the culmination of the dedicated, smart, and hard work of all the ISRO team members and the work culture of ISRO and the review process what we follow. I am sure all further mission operations will be a grand success and we'll have the successful soft landing. On this occasion, let me congratulate and compliment the members of ISRO team, our family members who have really sacrificed, the partners from industry and academia, and the various review fora. Thank you. Jai Hind.
The Chandrayaan craft was built at the UR Rao Satellite Center, so I request the Director of URC to speak.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I take this opportunity to first thank my colleagues from the Launch Vehicle Center for providing a textbook-like launch for Chandrayaan-3 on its journey towards moon. Thank you very much. And as Director LPSC and Director VSSC mentioned, realizing this kind of launch vehicle, third launch vehicle within a year's time is indeed a Herculean task. And thank you very much for the effort that has been put by all the members of the launch vehicle community and the industry supporting them. Coming to Chandrayaan-3, Mohan was telling that it is a penance. In fact, it is a penance of the Chandrayaan-3 team for the last 4 years, which has come today as an outcome. It is sitting like a brain sitting inside the head of a human being. On that mighty vehicle, on top of that satellite was sitting, and it was such a happy moment to see that satellite getting separated. And our work continues from now for the next 42 days till we reach the lunar orbit and touchdown softly on moon. So we'll speak the rest of the things after the soft landing on top of moon. Till then, thank you very much for all the members of the satellite community and the industry for your support, which has been continuing over several years, and I'm sure will continue in future also. Thank you very much.
Space Application Center Ahmedabad plays very important role in our scientific instruments and building of the satellites. Over to Director SAC, Nilesh Desai.
All right, so there we can see the team behind the launch of Chandrayaan-3, and that's the big breaking news right now. India's Chandrayaan-3 lifted off just a short while ago from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh and carrying the hopes of the nation. It was a successful mission so far. The launch was successful, and now our fingers are crossed for that moment now in 40 days, around 40 days from now, when it will attempt that moon landing. Well, let's go across to our guests, and we're joined by science reporter Pallav Bagla, also Ajay Lele, consultant, Manohar Parikar Institute for Defence Studies and Analysis, and Professor Dibyendu Nandi, principal investigator, Centre of Excellence in Space Science. Thank you so much for joining us. And Pallav, first to you, it was a textbook takeoff. So far, this today, the part of the mission was successful, and now we have to keep our fingers crossed till the end of August, when we'll see the second part of this mission.
A great launch from Sriharikota. The orbit which has been achieved by this launch vehicle Mark III is so precise. This will help save a lot of fuel, hopefully for a successful soft landing sometime in August. The launch vehicle has done 100% success rate. Now this augurs very well, not just for this mission it has done well, but even for Gaganyaan. Because the human space flight can happen only when you have a reliability as high as this vehicle, which is 100% success rate. So it is looking very good. The team from ISRO says the satellite is healthy and the orbit achieved is precise. So we have had a fantastic liftoff and a successful launch of the launch vehicle Mark III, a great beginning for Chandrayaan-3 from Sriharikota. I love ISRO.
All right, if you could explain to the viewers what is happening between now and end of August, and what happens during this period. Pallav.
I couldn't catch a question, Kargi.
Between now and the end of August, when the next part of the mission takes place and we attempt the moon landing, if you could explain to viewers what happens in that duration.
Oh, right now, see, the Chandrayaan-3 satellite has been put in the Earth orbit. It will slowly, the orbit will be raised so that it can reach an orbit from where it can be sent on its journey to the moon. The moon is 3.84 lakh kilometers away. It's called the translunar orbit. Then the very tricky operations happens when it reaches the orbit of moon. Chandrayaan-3 has to be caught in the embrace of the moon. If it doesn't get caught, it becomes a flyby mission and everything gets lost. Once it's caught in the orbit of the moon, then it goes around the moon for several operations and then successfully attempts a soft landing. The critical part, all of these stages, India has in a way mastered over different missions. It's the successful soft landing which is awaiting success. And this time, the confidence level in the 1,000+ scientists who have worked on Chandrayaan-3 is very high. So I am hoping that things will go right this time.
Right, very confident. It was great to hear so many different members of the team speak out. And Professor Nandi, if you can come in here, great moment for India, successful launch, and now, as we said, really hoping for success at the end of August.
Yeah, beautiful day, beautiful first step for the Chandrayaan mission. Of course, it'd be incredible if you could soft land on the moon on 23rd August. As Pallav said, that last bit is the tough task. The three countries, the US, China, Russia, which have landed successfully on the moon. India is trying now. Japan is going to make an attempt at the end of this year. That entry, landing, and descent is a nightmare. You try everything, and you make sure that everything that possibly can go wrong, you have taken care of. But still, it's a little bit of a miracle every time it happens. I know that I'm a scientist, I should really use that word, but it's just incredible. And today was a fantastic launch, a very precise launch. And we're just hoping that final bit, the entry, landing, and descent and landing just comes through.
That's right. And Ajay Lele, as we were, discussing, this is an exciting time for India when it comes to space. And also, we're looking forward to having a person in space soon as well.
Definitely. If you really look at this mission and the other missions also, in fact, in the month of April, one was by a private agency from Japan and other from a private.
Sir, I think you've gone on mute. If you could just check your audio, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
What I was trying to say was that there were two missions in the month of April. They were by the private players. One was from Japan and other was from Israel. Unfortunately, both these missions had failed. Both these missions had the same ambition of putting a rover and a lander system on the moon surface. So one can understand that how tough this entire science is all about. And ISRO has learned its lessons from the first mission. And now I'm sure that with this mission, they will come out with a success because they have almost worked on any sort of possibilities which will go wrong and identified the solutions. And that's the reason they have strengthened their software algorithms also, giving a lot of inputs that if this goes wrong, what should be the other course of action. Then we had put a orbiter mission along with Chandrayaan-2. Again, that was a very successful orbital mission. When we had launched that mission, that was supposed to last only for 1 year. But right now, it is understood that it will last for 7 years. So that was a great success as far as the Chandrayaan-2 mission was concerned. As Pallav was making a mention, this time also the mission was copybook mission. So there is a lot amount of a saving on fuel also. So for days to come, definitely we will have some good idea about how the mission is making a progress and how it can get into the moon orbit. That is going to be the most critical thing. We know how to undertake the orbit region maneuvers, but subsequently entering into the moon orbit will be the first criticality. And we all understand that soft landing is going to be the next criticality. After that, I think after a couple of months next year, probably we will attempt a Gaganyaan mission also. That's again a very ambitious project, got delayed because of a COVID crisis. But I'm sure ISRO will now pull up its socks and go ahead fast in that mission also.
And what do these missions and the successful missions, and even if we talk about Chandrayaan-2, it was partially successful. So what do they mean for development, science and technology in India for the private industry?
You see, the most important aspect of this mission and Chandrayaan-2 mission also, which was highlighted by the chairman ISRO, is that this is not only a technology demonstration mission. This is a mission which is meant for the purposes of a science also. So ISRO has identified few sensors which are on board of Chandrayaan-3. These sensors were on board of a Chandrayaan-2 also. So there is an involvement of a private sector into these things. You had companies like Godrej who have contributed to the Chandrayaan-3 mission. So Indian private sector is already contributing to various activities which are happening in the space domain. In fact, a couple of years back, there was a statement made by Chairman ISRO then that almost 70 to 75% of the components of the mission are coming from a private sector. We got HAL also, who supports ISRO in a big way, and India's private sector is also supporting. So ISRO basically concentrates on rocket science, and all other electronics and mechanical equipments are basically built up by private sector. But now we go to booming private sector, and I think with the success of this mission, the private sector will have more amount of a boost, not only from orders from ISRO, but globally there will be a better recognition to India's scientific capabilities. And I'm sure that a lot of global players are getting attracted as such towards India's private sector. And in years to come, that sort of a contract getting will increase.
All right, Prime Minister has also tweeted. Remember, the Prime Minister is in Paris currently at the Bastille Day Parade, and he has tweeted, Chandrayaan-3 scripts a new chapter in India's space odyssey. It soars high, elevating the dreams and ambitions of every Indian. This momentous achievement, a testament to our scientists' relentless dedication. I salute their spirit and ingenuity. Professor Nandi, let's get some final comments from you. As you know, it's been an exciting day. Now we'll all probably meet at the end of August when we're waiting for the next part of the mission. But again, this is something, it's great to have, such a huge interest even on the YouTube website of ISRO. There were over 1 million people that were watching this. So that just shows the kind of excitement there is among everybody about this mission.
Yeah, Gargi, I mean, exploration is in our blood, right? I mean, in the sense that, starting from ancient history, that civilizations which have explored beyond its own borders, and you build a ship, you go to other countries, and you conquer new territory, you get in new resources. The way to move forward for humanity is exploration, and we are tracing our chains. And it's fantastic that India is now making these big steps for ourselves. We are now a player in the space domain, where we are now extending our boundaries in space, and the moon is just the first stop. But also, I mean, when you brought in this the public, the society, moon is also, it's a romance for us, right? And this is where the science and the imagination and this whole spirit of exploration comes and meets together, and creates this beautiful sort of day today for us. And hopefully, late in August, when you have that first small step in moon, hoping for future explorations beyond the moon and into the outer reaches of space.
All right, and Pallav, if you could explain to our viewers, when that soft landing does happen, end of August, it will be on the south pole of the moon. The significance of that and why?
Well, the significance is very important. The south pole of the moon remains unexplored. The only country which has ever put any instrument near the south pole of the moon is India, and that is where it is expected that there would be water ice. And if ever human habitation has to happen on the moon, and that will happen where there is water. Now, more importantly, India put its moon impact probe near the south pole of the moon in 2008. Then the Vikram lander crashed almost in the same area where today's mission is going to attempt a landing. All of this in a very unique position. And if ever the resources of the moon have to be shared, then India is there. I call the area the 2.5 into 4 square kilometer area where Vikram lander is supposed to land as the Kalam Vihar. And why do I call it the Kalam Vihar? I call it because it was former President APJ Abdul Kalam, when the orbiter was going for Chandrayaan-1, suggested that we place India's flag on the moon. Now we see with the signing of the Artemis Accords and the Artemis program by America, and the world is in a way looking at some way or the other in sharing the resources of the moon. Human habitation of the moon would happen. If there is industrialization and mining of resources, India will not be left behind. 1 in every 7 person on the earth is an Indian. So if ever habitation has to happen outside the earth, then India is there. India's Space Research Organization has end-to-end capabilities, and it can have independent access to space. This launch today is a reassertion of the fact of the precise nature in which that organization works and delivers for India. I'm touched and emotional about the moment today. It is a fantastic moment for India. It's just the beginning. As I would say, one small step for ISRO and hopefully a giant leap for India when the soft landing happens near the south pole of the moon. That is be a big day. All landings on the moon have happened in the equatorial region. India is targeting a very tough region. So somewhere there is reason for that. And our planners and our scientists have really worked hard to make sure this mission goes off well. A good beginning, and like Dr. Unnikrishnan was saying, a good ending is also expected. They have worked very hard for it.
That's right, and a hope of over 1 billion people. Thank you all for joining us. Professor Nandi and Mr. Lele, thank you so much. And Pallav, of course, always, in these exciting moments, a successful launch of Chandrayaan-3.